Hey guys, so today we're going to be capturing this control point. Right now it's neutral, so I'm going to hop onto it and I'm going to stand here and it's going to slowly capture. And it takes a couple seconds, but we'll definitely know when it's there. And done. There we go. Dang, I'm getting all these diamonds. That's great. Okay, so I got all my diamonds, and now, I'm a baller. And the site is now red because I am on the red team. I guess you can't see it because I don't have anybody else in my world, but I'm on the red team. So, yeah. Now this was a thing that was suggested or asked by some people who are making a map that's kind of Star Wars themed, and they wanted to do control points, but they didn't know exactly where to start. So it's actually pretty simple, and we'll go over the commands right now. So this is actually probably more simple than you think. It doesn't take up that many commands. The majority of the commands are going to be at the end here, where you have your customization, where maybe you have a armor stand holding a banner that goes down and back up as the control changes. That's probably going to take more commands than the actual control point. So it's fairly simple. You have to first set up a red team and a blue team. So you got to do scoreboard teams add red, or whatever name you have. You can adjust the names in my command blocks to whatever your team name is, but I'm just using the names red and blue. Okay. Then you also need a scoreboard objective called dummy and capture point, and it is a dummy type. And I'm going to have these commands that are here in a link in the description to a paste bin with all the commands in a row and all labeled and everything. So what you're going to need for a point is a armor stand that is probably, like I would say, it should be invisible. The important parts is that it has the tag of neutral and the tag of point. Now it doesn't need to have the tag of neutral because it'll probably add it itself, but I do it just in case. You can change the name from point, the tag from point to something else, but you have to change it in all the commands, blah, 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 same thing, same thing. But I think that it shouldn't conflict with anything in your world. So anyway, so you have a tag of points and a tag of neutral. So this just sets up an armor stand so that it is the control point, so it knows where the control point is. You put it in the very middle of your control point. So then the next set of 3 commands work for both teams. They're just inversed, and then we have a couple neutral commands. It's really only 10 commands. Okay. So the first one is executing at people on the red team. So you can change the name here to like whatever team you want. And if you have other teams, well, I'll go over that later. So what on the people on the red team, it's going to tag any armor stand with a tag of neutral in a radius of 3 with red point. So if I'm on the red team and I get near this armor stand, it is going to give it a and it captured it for me because I'm on the red team. But anyway, let me just leave the team. So what it'll do is it'll tag the armor stand with tag of red point. So now it knows it is my point. If it's neutral, that means that it is at the point of 0 for capture point scoreboard. Right now, since I stood up next to it for too long, you'll notice that it's 100. You can change that too. But anyway, so it's tagging it with the tag of red point. So now it knows if it's neutral, it's at 0. Nobody has touched it. Now it's my point because I've touched it. Now, one thing you can do to kind of change well, we'll go over that later, but you can kind of adjust when it becomes your point, but we'll go over that later. So anyway, so the next 2 are the ones where you actually capture it. So this one is the same thing, executing at a player that's red, team red. This time it is adding a red point. So if it was neutral and I captured it, it'll have a tag of red point. And then if it's still in a radius of 3, and it scores between 0 and 99, it'll add 1. So it's basically making it stronger, like making it more of my point. So we go, if it's at 0, then people can easily take it because the closer it is to 0, the closer it is to becoming neutral again or their point. So if I stand next to it, it'll become more of my point. So that's where if you see like those games where you have like a flag that goes down and then brings up your flag and your flag goes high, and as they take it, your flag goes down. And if you don't stand next to it long enough, your flag won't be all the way up. I don't know if you understand what I'm saying. But anyway, so that is making the capture point more mine, right? Then the next one is going to be how I take other people's points. So it's executing at red team, and it's removing. Now, if it's a blue point, so the same thing happens right here with blue. So if a blue person is near a point that is neutral, it'll tag it with blue point, okay? So it's finding if I'm next to a blue point in a radius of 3, and it's going to be removing one capture point until it hits 0. So that's why it takes about 5 seconds since it's at 100 and it runs 20 ticks a second. It takes about 5 seconds to take the point. So if you want to make it take longer to capture a point, just change this number to whatever you want minus 1. So if you want it to take, well, if you want to do it in seconds, if you want to take it 20 seconds to capture a point, you do 20 times 20 because you're running on a 20 ticks per second clock. So that's 40, and then minus 1. So, well, that's 400 minus 1. So it's 399 will make it go to 400, which is 20 seconds to capture the point. Also keep in mind that if it's not your point and they have captured it completely, it'll take double the time to capture it fully. So if this is the red team's point, if I join blue team, it will take the time to make it neutral and the time to capture it fully for me to capture it. So also keep that in mind. It takes double time if it's not neutral already. Now these next commands are the exact same. It's just tagging it with blue point if you're blue team, adding it if if the thing is yours and it's in a radius. So that's pretty simple. Now the last commands are just to make sure that when it hits 0, when somebody has gotten it down to 0, or if it's at 0, it will reset. So if it is at exactly 0, so if a point is at exactly 0, then it will remove the tag of red point, so it will no longer be a red team's flag or point. And the same for blue. If it's at 0, no longer a blue team's. And if it's at 0, it will have a neutral tag. And if it is at anything more than 0, it will no longer have a neutral tag. So if it's like at 1, then it won't have a neutral tag. This is also some 2 extra command blocks I added that are just in case 2 people are contesting the point at the same time, like I'm standing next to it and somebody else is standing next to it that is on another team. You can have some glitches, so I put down this one, which is just removing neutral if it's red point and removing neutral if it's blue point. So that's just 2 extras just in case. I haven't actually tested this on multiplayer, but I'm fairly certain it should work. If there's any bugs, just let me know. And then the last one is just adding 0 points of capture points to any tag of point, because when I summon this thing in, it doesn't have anything on the scoreboard, so I can't add anything to it because it's not within the range of 0 to 99. It is in an unknown range. It doesn't have any score, so it's not even 0. It's just not even there. So you have to at least have 0 on it. So this is just making sure that it's at 0. So the next commands are just how up to you. These are all like customizable. So this is executing at red point, and I made it so I have to wait until the point is fully mine. And if it's fully mine, then anybody in a radius of 3 that is on the team gets a diamond, so anybody near the point. Now, this is where if you're doing like a capture the command points and you have to hold them, kind of like in Call of Duty games, then you could do I think in Call of Duty games, as long as you just kind of have, I think in Call of Duty you have to get the point completely. So you would just copy this. I'll have this in the link, but I won't have the give diamond. It'll just do, it'll just have like put command here with brackets. So for this, you would do like scoreboard players add at like whatever your entity that's keeping track of how many points the other team has or whatnot. So this is just what you would change once they have the point completely. And then this is the same thing. This is changing the floor beneath it to wool. So this is just an example of how you can change it to have some custom like effects and pictures. Well, not pictures, but like movements. So once it turns red, it'll turn all the wool beneath it to red. If you want to be more complex, you can make it a circle. I just made a square. Or you can make it have a banner and the banner changes color. That's all up to you. I was just making the mechanism for it for you. But anyways, that's pretty much all there is to this one. About 10 command blocks, and then however many more you want for custom effects and looks. Sorry I haven't posted in a while. I'm working on a bunch of maps altogether. I streamed this weekend. If you want to see those, I'm actually going to make a playlist for my live streams because I keep them linked. But I don't know if somebody wants to watch them. But they're not really something important. But anyways, guys, other than that, I'll be coming out with some new videos. Hopefully you'll enjoy them. They're not exactly what I normally do, and also I'll have some new maps. So, yeah, so that should be cool. Look forward to that. But other than that, guys, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you all later.